Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, brother.
Yeah, I second what the dude was saying. You cool people. Uh, you make good points. I don't agree with everything, but you make good points. I'm gonna keep it real quick, real brief. I was just thinking, what what qualifies as abuse? I feel like it. Can I say that word? Or is that a hot
Yeah, I
word?
think let's be careful, but yeah, we got you. Say DV or something like that, or I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, say DV just for the cat. I get what you're saying, though. I got you.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
it wouldn't be DV, but
I know. I know what you mean. Like different form. Like if your friend was doing it too, you wouldn't be
yeah,
considered DV. But I got you. Yeah.
yeah. What qualifies as DV?
Mhm.
It depends on the relationship. What works for some relationships don't work for others. It's like if it's your homeboy, and you guys have a dynamic where you know get on each other about certain things about how you dress, how you talk, how you walk. That's cool. Or that's the dynamic for that relationship. That doesn't always like translate over to a personal relationship. Like if you're with your partner, sometimes it doesn't, like it's a different level of intimacy right there. So it's like what classifies as abuse for one relationship isn't the same as what it classifies as for another. Does that make sense? Is that
No,
fair?
no. I mean, I guess it. I would just say it's instead of trying to like rationalize it and be like, well, to me, that's not if it's abuse, brother. That's what I'm saying. If the people think it is, then it is.
I get it, but
You
the thing is,
know what I
like
mean?
I get what you mean. But to other observers, put it like this: if I go to a different location, like different city, like that city may have a language where like they may call each other certain terms that when I hear it, it sounds like somebody's being disrespectful. But to those that understand the language from the area, I might view it as okay, yeah, you're being disrespectful. But the people that understand it, they view it as maybe a term of endearment or respect or whatever. So
But
it
that's not.
depends on.
You do realize that that's not how offenses and transgressions work, right? Like the transgressor doesn't get to say that it's not offensive to the person that's being offended.
Yeah, but
So
I
that's
know,
how.
but what I'm saying is a lot of times what people classify as abuse, they're looking from the outside in. Like they'll observe somebody else and they'll say, "Oh, that's abusive," but they don't know the dynamic. Like if you're looking at two guys the way they talk to each other, and you say, "Okay, so you let your homeboy call you this, that,
Whatever.
and the third,"
Mhm.
but you don't like it will be considered as abuse between you and your like if a
No,
woman did
that's
it to
not
you.
what we're talking about, though. See, because this talks about you and the other person you're in the relationship with. So you and your homie in a friendship. It ain't about what other people think about you. It's about what you
Okay.
think about it. And men will often be fine with them with their homies not showing up for them. Like, oh, it's whatever. I don't expect anything out of them because men don't. The expectations that men have for their friends is way lower than the expectation they have for the women in their lives. Way lower,
Right.
and not even just it don't even got to be their significant other, just women in general. But like, um, if their male friends, like once again, like I use that example, if their male friends don't show up to their birthday party, they're like, oh well, I still have fun. If their male friends don't call and check on them after like something traumatic happened to them, they don't think anything of it because I'm a guy and that's what guys do. Like they'll justify it.
Right.
It doesn't not mean that and the reason why I'm saying that my proof for what so to combat or to understand what you're saying is so you're saying like all right, let's say that man doesn't think that that's abusive. He goes, okay, that's fine that Dre didn't show up for me or Public didn't show up for my birthday party, whatever, I'm cool with that. But my proof that he actually does understand that it's abusive is if his woman were to do the exact same thing, he would dump her. He would be very disappointed. But when his male friend does it, it's par for the course.
But the relationship dynamic is different.
It's not.
If but hear what I'm saying though.
So
If
many
if
ways
if
it's not, Dre. I
if
promise you it's not.
I get it in ways that in ways it's not, but in ways it is at the same time. If a woman has female friends and she has a like women are different, but I'll still say it. And she has a birthday party, and her female friend doesn't shows up. Women take that more personally. I will say that they'll take it more personally. Like you don't really rock with them like that. Okay, but at the same time, if she's with a guy and her guy does not show up for the for that event, um,
She's
wait a
gonna
second,
have this.
I lost.
She's gonna have the same response because that's logical. That's my point. You're proving my
But
point. Thank you.
but
Appreciate
it
you,
would mean a
Leah.
lot more. It
Hold
would
on,
mean
hold
a
on,
lot more. Is what I'm saying.
hold on. Thank you, Leah with the cash app. Thank you for making this world a better place. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Dre. It doesn't matter if it means a lot more. Don't do that. Don't move the goalposts. Stick with that because that's where you were going. But it doesn't make sense when you actually hear it now. It doesn't make sense, right? Because
Okay, but I'm
you're
saying
right.
is that
The
considered
woman
moving the
would be
goalpost
mad
though?
at her friend and she would be mad at her man. She'd be mad at both. Now you could
Okay.
we can sit here and say to what extent, you know what I'm saying? Maybe she's gonna be more
Right.
disappointed by cool, whatever. But she is going to be mad at both. No doubt about it.
So are we saying okay? So if I have a homeboy that doesn't show up for my birthday party, are we saying like as a guy? Let's say for you, if you have a homeboy that doesn't show up for your birthday party, you may not have the same like emotional way of expressing yourself as a woman would, but are we saying that as a guy, you may not, even though you don't show it, you may not feel a certain type of way that he didn't show up, even though
Of
you won't,
course I
even
do.
though you, of course, so guys do feel a certain type of way. We just show it differently. We may not be as
No,
expressive.
no, that's not what? No, sir. That's not what's going, sir. You were on, I thought you was on to something, but you lost me. I'm saying if my male friend doesn't show up, right? I'm saying that I'm going to be disappointed, and I'm going to be I'm going to be disappointed, no doubt about it, right? As I should be. I'm going to be disappointed, and I'm also moving forward. I'm going to treat him differently, right? Now, depending on where we're at in our friendship, that could be the first transgression, that could be the 15th transgression, and that matters too. But let's say my homeboy doesn't show up for my party and a girl doesn't show up for my party. I'm going to be disappointed in both of them are going, I'm going to be disappointed. Me personally, I'm going to be disappointed, right? But I feel like most men, what we do is we don't see the same thing in men. We give men a pass. We give men a pass and we hold women to this to a higher standard. And I think that the standard that you hold women to is okay. I don't think that that's unfair, right? But so men will go, okay, my friend didn't show up to my party. It's the second time or first, whatever. It's the first offense. He didn't show up, she didn't show up. I'm disappointed in both, but I'm gonna remain friends with both. I'm gonna still, I'm just gonna try to figure this thing out. Okay, cool. Now 2 weeks, a month later, you have another event, same thing happened. Both of them don't show up. You go, okay, well, that sucks that my homie didn't show up. But Teresa, she should have been there. She should have been there. Now, and already it started. Now you hitting up Teresa. You don't ever come through for me. You didn't have that same conversation with your homie though, right? That's number two. Maybe but you still in a relationship with Teresa, and your homeboy is still your homeboy. By that third or fourth or fifth time, you are full blown yelling at Teresa, crying. Oh, she don't ever come through for you. She don't never show up for you, and you don't even care that your homie didn't show up for you. He's still your homie. You still go hoop with him periodically. You still he's the type of homie that he'll call you to trauma dump everything onto you. But he's never there for you when you call him. Like you're still showing up for that friend. But that woman on the other hand, she gonna bear the brunt of all of that disappointment. You're gonna be, oh man, you didn't show up for me. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I don't never open up myself to women. Oh, y'all always let me down and blah, 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 blah. Whole time your friend is a freaking menace. He's doing the same thing. That's what I'm saying. But women, they will clock both. They will be like, the man is messed up and the woman is messed up. My homegirl is messed up and my man is messed up.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? And she gonna be disappointed in both. Eventually, she gonna get tired of both. She gonna let both go. She ain't gonna choose her man. And I'm not saying no, I'm not saying every woman does. I'm just saying in general. You find it more, it's easier to find in women. You find that quality more in women where they're like, they clock, oh, this woman, my female friend isn't showing up for me because I have expectations. I expect her to show up for me. I expect her to answer my call when I call her, because I answer when she calls me. I
So
expect
so
her to go ahead.
so then is it fair to say that men simply have minimal at best, at worst, no expectations that they put upon other men, because we don't really expect men to come through in certain ways. Is that
Yeah,
fair to
because
say?
because the patriarchy teaches us that boys will be boys, men will be men. You don't ever show your emotion when it comes to a man. You get mad over a man. You get mad that your homeboy didn't show up. Oh man, oh man, you sus, man. That's how your homies, that's how your other homies will treat you if you ever tell them like, hey, public. I've invited him out like 3 times. He ain't showed up none of the 3 times, man. Like I don't know what's going on with that dude. I don't think he rock with me like that. I'm disappointed. I'm a little sad that he don't show up for me in that way because I felt like our friendship was different. I felt like our friendship was stronger than that. Oh, oh, Dre, you serious? Oh man, here you go. Like that's how most men react in those situations. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not a secret. That's how we get down. Our
I get it.
expectations are very low, or if not non-existent.
I'm almost tempted to throw in what you're probably familiar with, and say that men get, and you already know the line of thought. I'm not the first to suggest it or whatever. I only it's easy, but men are men are kind of in a sense cornered society in a society sense. I guess by the patriarchy and then women, but then you can make the argument that women's treatment of it is a direct result of the patriarchy. Most times, men don't have the freedom to express their emotion because if they do say, "Oh, I'm sad because my boy didn't show up," they might be looked at as soft by other men, or women might think something of them if they show too much emotion. So
No, that's true.
it's like you're like hedged in. If I
Yeah,
if I
no,
say- if I bring up the woman
that's true.
aspect, we can blame patriarchy for that, but it's a reality still, nonetheless.
Yeah, that's true. And the reason why I just heard like 2 or 3 women on the podcast talking about. I mean, yeah, he could cry, but not too much,
See,
right? I just heard that the other day. So I know there are some women out there that feel like that. But my pushback would be, do you think most women feel, even in the patriarchy, do you think most women would feel some type of way if their man were to open up to them? Do you think most women would be disappointed if a man were to do that? Or do you think that is an extreme version of women?
but how do you begin to determine that ratio when there's so many men who are already boxed in because they've had a negative experience? So like, how do you determine the ratio of women that are open to their men being full, having his emotions fully on display or whatever? Like, how do you determine
I
if that
think
makes sense?
I think the for me personally, well, you didn't answer my question first and foremost. So do you think that you find that more commonly in women? You think if you had to guess, do you think more that the majority of women would feel negatively if their man were to be vulnerable with them?
It's hard. It's hard to say. I wouldn't go as far as to say they would feel negative. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say because it's not my personal experience where women feel in a negative sense. That's a strong word to say, like to feel negative because a guy has an emotional response. But I don't think most women would find it comforting that like if their man is always in his emotions.
I don't know
That
what
makes
that
sense.
means. Always in his emotions, and what emotions are we talking about? What do you mean?
Um, I'm sorry. I'm kind of caught between two things. I had a text on my phone, but I was reading that. Um, Yeah, try to bring me back. I'm sorry, I was in between two things.
Okay, so
I
I'm saying, what do you mean by men being all in their emotions all the time? What does that look like to you?
okay, being always in your emotions, always being emotionally unhinged on things that doesn't necessarily require you to be
Yeah. Okay.
emotionally
So
unhinged.
being irrational, yeah, of course most women don't want their man to be
Right.
irrational. It's not what we're talking about, right? But if a man is expressive and he it has a good command of his emotions or control over his emotions, you don't think most women want that in a man?
They do. They would.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah. So that the only people who don't want you to be emotional and show your emotion are men. By the group of people to find like a large group, it's men. It's not women. You could you got to go through a lot of women to meet one woman that's like crying, man crying ill. Like you gotta go through a lot of women before you can get to the woman that's like
Yeah, yeah,
really like
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to see.
I'm with you on that. I'm not here to lie. I may get some things wrong, but like you right on that.
And I think that the craziest thing is when men and so when I think that's why I think it's crazy and disingenuous when so many men say that they've experienced a woman invalidating their emotions. I'm like, I find that very hard to believe because are y'all all dating the
Invalidation.
same woman? Because
Invalidation.
they're not common. That's not the way men the amount of men that talk about women having validated their emotions is you would think that it's most women that do that, but you and I agree that it's probably not, right? So so there's a disconnect there because I'm like I don't think that that's the case. I haven't really met any that I could think of off the top of my head. Granted, I
So,
haven't
question.
dated a woman in freaking 17 years, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, okay. So, question. Do you believe in social programming?
Of course, that's
Okay.
what I talk about all the time.
Programming through media,
Appreciate
um,
you, Clarice, for the cash app.
uh,
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
like programming through media, whether it's TV, movies, music,
Music.
social groups that you hang around, that you associate yourself with. Um, I do believe that as it relates to men feeling like their feelings can be invalidated, I think that could be a byproduct of social programming. There are some responses that women have to things that men may feel in an emotional response to that can be deemed as invalidating toward a male, like a male feeling or whatever.
Give me an example.
Um, I put myself on the spot with that one. An example is uh, a lot of guys always talk about feeling disrespected.
Okay.
Um, and so when it comes to feeling disrespected, the question then becomes like you question whether it's, oh, okay, you said you felt disrespected, or are you just being insecure? You're invalidating the feeling of being disrespected and you're putting it back on him and saying, no, you're not being disrespected by me. Rather, you're being insecure. That's an invalidation of your feelings.
Maybe
Rather,
it's
rather than,
But
right,
maybe it's
rather than,
but maybe it's true. See, that's the thing.
well,
Even in the
that's
scenario, but even oh wait, Dre. Even in the
yeah, go ahead.
scenario you gave, that could be true. You could be just projecting. You know what I'm saying? And the woman could just be clocking it. And that's what I be saying. A lot of times, what men be deeming as like, she invalidated my because you was faking and she clocked it.
Right,
A
but
lot of
here's the
times dudes
thing.
be crying. A lot of times the only time the dude cried is at the end of the relationship when she finally caught him cheating. Now he crying. And now she walking and he on the floor in a fetal position and she step over him like AI did to Ty Lue in the finals. And he go, she invalidated my emotions. No, she didn't.
Now, but check it out though.
She just didn't fall for your manipulation. Like,
That's a legit scenario that you're talking about. But it's not the only scenario, if we're being honest. There are some scenarios where it's so many scenarios. It's hard to narrow it down to just the one that you even mentioned. I couldn't even begin to name all of them, but there's some scenarios where it could be legitimately just legit. Let's say let's base it on the legit scenario where he's let's assume, I know it's not many good guys. Let's assume it's a good guy, and so he feels disrespected. Let's assume he's not a cheater or he's none of those things. So if he says he feels disrespected, and she retort to him that you're being insecure, and let's just assuming that he's not doing anything wrong. What like and she
You would
says,
have to give me you would have to give me a more specific, like, I hear where you're trying to go, but then you would have to go deeper and then give me the scenario. Because like I'm saying, when I hear that, I'm going, what if he was just being insecure? What if
but the
he
thing,
just, like, I just heard a story. I just heard a story. A woman was talking to her man. She was talking to her man. Her man said something about he wanted to buy something, he wanted to purchase something, right? And she basically was like, "Hey, um, like, what did she say? She was like, do you think you should be buying that? Aren't you trying to save up for X, Y, and Z?" And he got defensive. She was right. He
right.
didn't have the money. He has a bigger goal. He wants to buy something, right? That's bigger, right? Like property or whatever it is. But then he was talking to her about spending money, a lot of money, to go do something else. And she was like, "Well, but aren't you trying to save for this? Like, should you be doing that if you not, you know what I'm saying, if you still ain't even achieved this goal yet?" And he got defensive. And men often get defensive under in those scenarios. That's why I be like, dude, did she really did she really invalidate your feelings, or did she you know what I'm saying? Did
Yeah,
she, or did she, you know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's not to acknowledge that there are scenarios. I'm not trying to be a male apologist or a female apologist. I'm just like just based in the sole reality of that there are both scenarios, and both can be true at the same time. You agree? Like there are cases where um men feelings can be invalidated, where you know, and then there's cases where those perceived invalidations are really based on his insecurity. It can be both.
yeah, but I'm saying I got you. It can be, and you're right, it can be. But we're talking about the majority of the time. Everything you're saying does happen. Like, you know, that's not there's no debate there. Everything you've said so far, it has happened and does happen. I'm just saying it rarely happens. That's all I'm
I, I
saying.
don't, I don't know how to. I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't know how to begin to boil that down to a ratio that that you or I can really believe when there's so many different variables and variations of events that go on every day out here. Like people live in like different scenarios all the time, and I don't know whether those ratios favor what you're saying or favor what I'm saying, or it's just strictly down the middle. Like there's people whose feelings are invalidated, and there's people whose feelings are just based on their insecurities. It's both ways.
It's not though. And that's the why do you keep saying that? It's not both ways. Both ways implies equality, right? Like it's happening both ways equally. That's when you say both ways, that's the way I interpret both ways. Both ways doesn't mean it always like if I say it doesn't happen both ways, I'm not saying it never happens. I'm saying it's
Right,
not
I got you.
equal, right?
Okay.
Like not even close. Like even if it was close, I would give you, yeah, it happens both ways. It's not close.
Okay,
That,
I guess what I can say, like
wait,
to be
wait, but
more
Dre,
accurate.
but wait. The scenario you're describing, the reason why I can say that is because if you talk to women about these scenarios, they
I'm
will
still having
tell
a
you
conversation.
they will tell you what has happened, what has transpired, right?
Okay.
And what they say to me, in my experiences as well, it actually makes sense. The thing that men say to me, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm not following that. Y'all not about to sit here and try to act like, I just, man, these women got sharp tongues and they just be saying whatever to me and being so disrespectful, and I just be sticking around because I love to love women. Like, no, no, you don't.
See, I'm not even trying to be fake like that. I'm trying to like having a real conversation that like that. All that is not. I don't buy all that at all. You know, I get what you're saying.
You kind of in that realm though, fam. That's what I'm saying. That's
I'm
where
not.
you're at right now. You're in the room for sure. I don't know. You're in the room. Like you know, I just did a different voice, but you're in there. You're in the room, right?
I get your perspective, but what I'm saying is, I can't really hammer down a percentage. I'm not gonna say is that I can't say I
Me
back
either.
off what I said a second
Hey,
ago. I can't.
me either. Me either, Dre. But it's the vast majority. Me either. I can't. Fuck a percent. I'm sorry, bumper percentage, but it's the vast majority
But the
of
vast majority, according to what
to
to
the
what
women.
pool is
Listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying, Dre. Hold on. Listen what I'm saying. when I have these conversations, I'm sorry. I know this is gonna rub y'all the wrong way. I know this is gonna ruffle feathers. I I am a man, and I have experienced these things as a man, right? And yes, I have compared notes with other men, and other men have said that they've experienced similar things the way that I have experienced these things, right? Okay. But as I've gotten older, and I would like to think as I've gotten wiser, and I've started to unpack my misogyny, and I've started to have these conversations with women, and what happened is that I started to quickly realize that the way that I was interpreting these interactions, they were completely wrong, and I was just trying to gaslight the woman. That's what I'm saying. Like I wholeheartedly, that is what was going on, without a doubt.
Okay.
Right? And I've given this example 1,000 times, but I'll give it 1,001 times for right now. When you're arguing with your woman or you're disagreeing with your woman, and she brings up like everybody sees it, Dre, not just me, right? You're that or when she says the reason why you all are so controlling of me is because your dad left and you have abandonment issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you want to track me everywhere I go is because your mom used to leave you for hours. Your mom used to leave you for days and you didn't see her like when you know what I'm saying? Like when you just for educational purposes. Like when when a woman says that to a man, especially in an argument, we cannot handle that truth. We cannot, man. Most of us cannot handle that. Especially in that moment. And so to get out of it, what we do is we say, you took my vulnerability and you used it against me. You invalidated my experience. I'm sorry, you don't go there yet. You say you have taken something that happened to me that you know about, that you have intimate knowledge about, and you have used it against me, right? And then she goes, wait, and then she goes, no, that's not what I was doing. I was just trying to explain to you, maybe that's why you're acting this way with me, so that you can see it from that perspective, right? Because at the end of the day, you are being irrational right now. And then you go, oh, now you're invalidating my feel. Like that's typically how that happens. So you get both of those things at the same time. And as a man that has gone through that thing that I just played out for you, I've gone through that 11 times, brother.
I got you. But
Minimum.
it's like, okay, you sometimes your girl play the therapist role and bring up things that that she may deem as a source for the reason why you may feel a certain way or act a certain way. I get it. It's cool, but I do believe that you know yeah, you already know, and you probably heard it before. Being like knowing when to pick the moments is just as important as having as saying what you're saying. And a
Is
lot
it?
of times, it's important. A lot of times in
Is
conversations,
it?
it is, and I can tell you how. I can tell you why. Because even when men do it, men can pick wrong moments to say certain things to their lady or whatever, trying to be a support to her. And if you pick the wrong moment, even if you say the right thing, it can get a different response. Like
But
sometimes you still have to pick and choose the right moment.
Dre,
To
can I
say
ask you a question? But was it true though? But was it
it,
true though?
it can be true, but here's the thing: at the wrong moment, even the truth can be
When is the
can
right moment? You're
at
talking
the,
about
at
it
the
right
at the
now. When
wrong
is the
moment.
right moment?
At the wrong
I'm not
moment,
understanding.
even the truth can be a weapon.
Oh man, this is crazy talk. We have literally gone.
That's real
We have
talk.
We have gone off the deep end somewhere. I don't. What are we talking about? What are we talking about now? This is crazy. The truth is a weapon, and that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying about. And that's what. But Dre, hold on, wait, brother. And that's what I'm saying about men. That what you just said right now. Only a man would say that. Only a man would say the truth can be a weapon. What? To tear down a lie, yeah. To destroy a lie, absolutely.
I mean, that's not the context I'm speaking in.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But that's the only context. Like, what are we talking about here? If she tells you that, brother, I'm sorry. Now, you know what, Dre?
Okay, put it like this.
Go ahead. No. Let me finish. Let me finish, then respond to this. I'm gonna throw you a bone. Yes. Let's say that that same scenario comes up, and instead of her saying it the way that I said it, she goes, and that's why your daddy left you. Yes, disrespectful.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
But that's not what I was talking about.
Okay.
That's not what I was talking about. I already gave the example of how it happens in my mind. Right? But I'm saying.
Okay, so we're talking about the same thing then.
Because no, we're not. But wait.
Hear me out. Okay, I was speaking on picking the correct moment to say it, how you convey it. And I had a different mental image in my mind of the moment and the tone of the whole situation. What you were saying, the example you just gave a second ago, I was thinking of that, like just the cutthroat situation where it was just disrespectful.
When do women do that? That's what I'm saying. That's so rare. Like what you're describing is so. Drake, the only time women start to do that I've never experienced this personally, right? I've never experienced what you're talking about. I've never experienced it personally. The only time that I've ever though seen it or really heard about it, it was the dude was abusing, like he was being disrespectful to her forever, and then she finally freaking pushed back and cooked him. Like, and I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying like, dude, when men abuse women for 6 months, 6 years, whatever, that's par for the course. But then a woman, God forbid, she gets mad in a moment and uses something that is probably still true. The stuff the men be doing to the women don't even be true, right? But anyways, in the moment, she'll be like, I mean, in the moment when it happens, it's like the dude is like, he crumbles. Like if you took a fraction of the abuse that if men received a fraction of the abuse that they visit upon women, we would not be in relationships with women at all. Women wouldn't have to worry about us trying to choose them and chase them. We would run away from women. If men actually was experiencing the level of abuse that men like be trying to like project or like act like it's actually going, like what? If we look how sensitive men are. You're proving it right now. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not making this up. You're proving how delicate the male ego is right now. Like, what? The truth is what are we talking about?
I don't necessarily think it proves that the male ego is fragile. It's just more.
Is the male ego now fragile, Jay? Drake, is the male ego now fragile?
Let me finish. I mean, it can be. Just be honest.
But in general, are most males' egos fragile?
Yeah. Hey, overall, I will say that I would speak like I believe that like human, like,
come on, bro.
Like us as people can't. You ain't taking that. I believe that us as people.
Why can't you ever answer it? Because you be knowing the truth. You just say the truth. Well, just say it, brother.
Let me say what I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
I believe that people in general can be fragile, and I will say, in addition to that, on the direct side, I believe that a lot of times, men can project an image of being super tough, but be super sensitive to small things that can be true. Is that yapping? I see the comments.
Yeah, that's yapping. Because we didn't need that. What we needed, what I asked you was, is the male ego fragile? That's all I want to know. Yes or no?
It can be.
Ah,
Yes.
brother. Brother. I'm gonna say the male ego is soft as baby poop. The male ego is soft as Medicaid cotton. Shout out to that. The male ego is tender. Men are tender. We tender. We gentle. We like newborn baby birds, man. You gotta handle us delicately. We real soft. We fresh out the, you know what I'm saying? We like cakes fresh out the oven. We like cookies fresh out the oven. We soft. We real soft. You just gotta be real. You gotta handle us delicately. The male ego versus saying Wi-Fi is crazy. The male ego is just it's touchy. It's touchy. It's touchy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta handle us with kitty gloves. You can't never really stand on the truth. You gotta say things in a certain way. My platform is, to me, my platform is a big example of that, how delicate the male ego is. Because men will accept tons of abuse from other men, as long as those men also bash women, because that's more important. And as long as those men go harder on women than they do on men, as long as they do that, shout out to Kevin Samuels. As long as they do that, that's what's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, men will be okay with that. But
Well,
the day
I believe.
you tell men the truth about men, the day you don't coddle men, the day you don't point the finger at some other group and you really focus on men melt. They cannot take it. They start hate campaigns against a
I do.
man saying that.
I do believe that the
I am
vast.
living proof of how fragile the male ego is. My platform is living
Okay.
proof of how fragile the male ego is, without a doubt.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I do believe, and I do believe that the vast majority of men, uh, they they don't do the proper work on themselves to be able to handle certain scenarios beyond the physical. So when it comes to emotional stuff, they can fold a little bit.
Hey, most men can't fight either. Most men can't do 20
That's a
put
fact.
20 pull-ups. Most men can't do 50 push-ups straight. Most men don't got no hands. They don't even handle the physical. Men don't be doing nothing. They don't be preparing for nothing. Most men can't bench press 225. Go look up the now. I ain't making none of this up. Most men cannot pull up their own body weight. Most men
Yeah,
can't do those things. Me personally, I'm a freak of nature. I'm not gonna even hold you. I'm a bit of a freak of nature, right? But most men can't do, like, it's crazy. Like, I be sitting there, how wild men be acting and how much men be yapping. I be like, bro, you can't do 50 push-ups. You can't. I be seeing men struggle to do 10
no, but
pull-ups at the gym.
here's the thing. Here's the thing,
Wide
though.
grip.
Like, what's the end? Like, what's the benefit? By this point, we all know that men have their flaws. They're mentally fragile.
Mhm.
They expect
And
more of women
physically.
in certain capacities. You said, say it again.
And physically. That's my point. I'm just bringing that up because you said men focus more on the physical part, but they don't. Most men don't even focus on the
No,
physical part. That was
I'm
my
not. I'm
point.
not saying. I'm not saying that men focus. I'm not trying to say that men focus more on the physical part. I'm just saying when it comes to what men have an advantage in, whether you work on it intentionally or not, it will be the physical. It's not about whether they are able to do 50 push-ups. A man is more than likely to be stronger than a woman, even if he can't do 2 push-ups.
I know, but that's a
Um,
woman. But sir, who are you going when you're talking about protection? Who are you going to have to protect a woman against more than likely? Another woman or a man?
a man, men are
Okay,
territorial,
okay,
men are possessive.
okay.
So all
Men
those
are
things.
irrational. Men are dumb. Like, yeah. So my point is,
Men and women
I'm
are
saying,
irrational. That applies to both.
and that's why I'm saying, and that's why I understand why most men be scary, because most men don't know how to fight. Man, most men don't know how to fight. Most men don't. And what I'm saying is let's say none of us really know how to fight, because I would 1% of men actually know how to fight. I'm just being honest. 1% of men actually know how to fight. No doubt about it. What I'm saying is that what out let's say everybody else fighting against one another, it there are certain things that are going to give you an advantage. You having stamina, you know what I'm saying, you being in some shape, or what. That's why I'm saying those things. I'm saying, like, I'm not saying, like, just because you have those things, those people get knocked out all the time too, don't get me wrong, right? But I'm saying the man, the man that in a contest that is largely rooted in physical abilities, it's the man that has those abilities, that has those capabilities, that's going to prevail, right? So if a man is freakishly athletic, if a man is freakishly fast, if a man is freakishly strong or something like that, he'll probably prevail in a fisticuff, in a fight, right? I'm just saying that most men don't even train for that. Like, they don't even train for that. They don't care about their physical, and they don't care about their mental. So what do men actually care about? What do men actually work on? We're not working on our minds, and we ain't working on our bodies. What do men actually work on?
I'm curious to know the answer. Are you waiting for me to answer?
I don't know the answer. I'm asking you. King Loaf, come up here. Saying,
Well,
hold on, man.
my thought is just to continue on the thought I had a second ago. At this point, we understand, okay, the things that men like don't work on, and on the alternative, how much they expect of women, which may be perceived as being unfair. What's the end game though? Like, if we know all these things about men that we talk about every single day, what's the result except highlighting the things that men don't do, that men don't contribute, that men all the negatives. Like, what's the positive result to flow from it?
What?
What's the call? Like, what's the call to action? Like, what like is the sole goal to point out the stuff that men don't do and to make that apparent, or is there something that you
It's
want to
to
give?
get men to stop. It's to expose the fact that we see that men actually don't be doing nothing, that we actually don't be working on nothing, so that maybe men could go, okay, you got me. Let's start doing some work. The goal is to be better. The goal is to and I don't care about going to the gym or nothing like that. I just find it funny how men be on that type of time and then don't even be doing that. I'm like, so what are you working on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you
I got
doing?
you.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, I don't care about that. Like, if you was like, I would much rather you be like, I'm meditating every day. I'm breathing, I'm doing breathing exercises. I'm going to therapy. I'm drinking water. I'm touching grass. Like, I would much rather you tell me those things than like, I went to the gym today. Man, that's cool, man. I'm happy for you. I'm happy you moving around. That should help you a little bit, right?
Okay, I got you.